Hello, so if I'm live, I've got the Serbian M3 on that Mark has sent me to borrow. Quite like it, actually. It's a bit of a buzzy, sort of cheap voice diaphragm, but it's sort of like a US M40 or an M45 mask. A bit like the Canadian C4. You can probably see it's very sort of similar looking at the two masks. Very, very similar sort of design. But yeah, it's pretty good. For a Serbian mask, it's very good, actually. Let's see if the XL valve cover is the same size as the C4. No, not quite the same size. But yeah, that's where the XL valve is. Blanking plug with voice diaphragm, primary voice diaphragm, 40mm filter. Hello, Richard. Hello, everybody just joining. And I'm trying to put that on the wrong mask. I know that's what's not going on. There we go. All right, Keegan. Which state are you in? If you've not said, I've just forgotten. It's not really a copy of the S10. There's S10 elements to it, but it's more of a direct copy, I'd say, of the US M40 or M45. It was sent to me by Marcus, who's one of the subs and sort of donators to the channel. So I'm basically borrowing it, and then when he asks for it back, I'll post it to him. But it's quite good to be able to actually see one in person, because it's basically like Serbia's copy of an M40. Yeah, it's a bit buzzy, Marcus, but I might be able to fix that. Let's have a go, because I used to have that issue with my M98, and then after pressing the voice diaphragm from the inside, it fixed it. So let's have a look. All right, Mike, let's take a look. So the inside just looks like a grate. So let's try pushing that in, because with the Scott M98, I found as soon as I pushed this bit in, it stopped buzzing, because it was basically just a reverberating metal thing. So let's try that. Okay, how's that? It's still vibrating, isn't it? So that's obviously not fixed it. I assume it's that one vibrating and not this one. Actually, it might. It sounds like it's this one vibrating, actually. Let's have a play about with that one. Yeah, Mike, I'm on later today because I had a takeaway tonight and my parents are live streaming some football, so I couldn't stream at the same time they were streaming because, you know, obviously the bandwidth wouldn't have been good enough, so I just did a later stream. Yeah, there's that voice diaphragm and the secondary voice diaphragm in the blanking plug like of an S10. So let's see if this one looks like it might be just slightly out of place. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it, so let's try again. Look, the oral nasal cup's gone a bit funny. Right, let's try that again. No, it's still a bit buzzy. I don't think it's as bad as it was, but yeah, it's probably just a cheap metal they've used in the sort of assembly. Oh, as I said, I was sent one for free to do some videos on before sending it back, so don't ask me where to get them. Probably gas mask collectors. Buy them in a private sale kind of thing. No, I don't want that strap attached to that bit of mask. See if I could get this up there. That doesn't really work as well as on an M1 style thing. Yeah, like Marcus says, if you want semi-rare stuff, you have to basically just really luck out with eBay. You want to contact a private collector to sell you stuff if you're after rarer masks. Yeah, I'm alright, thanks, Radiac Maniac. I don't think it's an improved M40, at least not judging by the voice diaphragms. I do like this mask, don't get me wrong, but it's not really improved over the M40 other than maybe being a better rubber. Now let's do that. and then I can get this on with the helmet properly. Just trying to get that to grip. Doesn't want to go in very well. It's one of those awkward filter ports. Is that getting purchased now? No. Yeah, not very user-friendly filter ports for self-screwing your filters on. There we go. But yeah, Mike, your video on that sword was really good. Good idea from Rich as well. This doesn't look anything like the M10. Looks more like an M40 or an M45. This is called a gas mask or a respirator, not a helmet. That's a helmet. The M2 was 40mm NATO as well. Serbia and Yugoslavia have been NATO threaded filters for quite a long time. Yeah, like I said, it reminds me a lot of the Canadian C4 as well, if you look at the layout of it. Other than the lenses, it's the exact same sort of valve type setup on there. Yeah, other than the C4 having better lenses, it's basically, yeah, same front voice diaphragm, XL the bottom on both of them, blanking plug voice diaphragm. And as I said over and over again, no, I was never in the military. Yeah, but Yugoslavia wasn't part of the Soviet bloc. It was communist, but they didn't get on with the Soviets. Oh, that's just an American type eyepiece, the triangular ones. Yugoslavian M5985 helmet, basically a German style helmet. It's modernized. Yeah, $70 for an IP4 doesn't seem too bad. The IP4M is better though. Yeah, Yugoslavia used NATO filters, not GOST filters, because they weren't part of the Soviet bloc. That's not an awful price for one Moss and Nagant. Just bear in mind it's a rubber that tends to apparently melt if you're unlucky. If you have a look at the filter, let me show you. I'm going to have to take this all off again now, aren't I? So M3, almost 3M actually looking at that. But yeah, it's M3, serial number. Not really anything all that interesting about this filter. Paper heaper in there by the look of it. If it focuses again. Only thing that's kind of really shit on this mask is the straps. It's got a good head harness, but notice the straps are those really retro cheapo kind of straps. Not really good straps. Yeah, it seems a pretty good mask. You know, the Serbs have a better mask than Britain does technically at the moment, so there's that. But yeah, it's one of those masks where I'd say don't pay a fortune for it, you know, just due to the rarity of them, that it's not the most amazing mask in the world, even if it's quite well made. I'm pretty sure Einstein was not Serbian. Tesla was, although people argue if Tesla was Croatian or Serbian, but Einstein wasn't Serbian, if that's what you're trying to imply. Einstein was a German Jew who fled from Nazi Germany and worked on the Manhattan Project. $20 to $30. PMGs aren't worth much at all. Yeah, I think there's a weird thing where lots of people try and kind of claim credit for famous scientists and that weren't from their country. It's quite a weird sort of nationalistic thing. You said Oregon, didn't you, or did I miss it? Or did you say Utah? I'm not sure. Yeah, and then led to the rise of the Soviet Union, like World War II / the Cold War. Yeah. Yes, that's the PMG we were literally talking about it earlier in the stream. Yeah, I'd like to keep the stream on topic of gas masks or whatever. Also, I took the Kevlar thing out of the you know, that police Kevlar ad and thing. That's the hole I cut in it. So if you're interested what actual Kevlar looks like, it looks like that. Like a kind of sandpapery thing. That's what Kevlar actually looks like. If your friend managed to get a C3 for $5, that's a really amazing price. What, Israeli M15? I've got an Israeli M15 and a 4A1. A Seeks or Seax, or however it's pronounced, Peach would be cooler, I reckon, because Mike's done loads and loads of Bowies. No, the Dutch actually for a while had things like the Model K, which is a really cool gas mask. Yeah, this has two panels in, as you can see. Let's actually open this up. I don't mind taking the liner off this one because I've got quite a few spare Kevlar jackets now. So let me get some scissors and I'll show you what this actually looks like out of the liner, because all this liner is kind of like a waterproof sort of carrier thing for it. There's quite a few layers in there actually. Yeah, you can see where there's different layers to this, which I'll show in a minute. Thank you, Sunburn. Right, so for the people who were interested in Kevlar, this is one of the police stab-proof vests, like liners. So it looks like you've got that at the front, which looks like standard Kevlar to me. Let me put this light on so you can see the color of better. But this is, yeah, like your standard Kevlar panel. Then we've got a load of these, which I reckon are the stab-proof layers. Yes, weird stuff, isn't it? They're literally sheets. What the hell are you on about, 7 Beetle of Doom? I wouldn't make threatening comments like that if I were you, even if it wasn't intended to be threatening. In my local area, there isn't anywhere that's really radioactive. There's no, like, old uranium mines or anything. Yeah, this is quite interesting. There's a nice smell to this, weirdly. Kind of reminds me of old vinyl, like record smell, this stuff. But yeah. Yeah, it's weird how many layers there are of this stuff. Yeah, I assume this is the stab-proof stuff, this stuff. And then, obviously, this to me looks like the standard Kevlar kind of panel. So in theory, a knife would probably go through this pretty easily. But these are the stab-resistant ones. Yeah, I've got an old one, Iron Man with chainmail in front, but this is the more modern type stuff, where they've got kind of loads of layers of this stuff to be the stab protection. Oh, hiccups. I was literally showing it earlier, Uric. It's a gas mask. Yeah. I might fit this into another vest just to make it a bit more durable. Let's have a look actually at my favourite police vest. This one. Yeah, I think it depends, doesn't it, Richard, when they were made? Actually, this one might not work. Actually, no, this is one straightforward layer, isn't it, on this one? It's just, yeah, got that weird sort of folding bit in it. So, yeah, let me open this up. So, yeah, this one, again, this one's a different feeling material than the other one. And it's not chainmail either. So, yeah, let's see if this stuff all fits in here. It's going to be quite awkward to do this on camera, trying to fit, fill her into a vest. But, so I need this way facing forwards, if it's done the same way as the old vest. Hopefully it's a similar enough size that both of them can kind of go into the thing. Oop, I don't want to do a thing now. Just catching on something, I'm not quite sure what. Right, it's starting to get in there now. Right, now I should be able to put this in, which is the side, where this side towards body. All right, that's easy enough. So let's put that in there. And then zip it back up, and I should now have a really robust front panel in this vest. If I can get this zipped up, because obviously it's not meant to have that much bulk in it. Which is kind of annoying because the actual vest looks like it can sort of take it fine. It's just the zip bit is a bit fragile on this. It's starting to zip up. There we go. Right, let's see if this still works. As a vest, I mean. I know you're not meant to actually put them on like this, but I'm going to have to take this off completely, aren't I? Just to people in the chat, please talk English, because otherwise lots of people can't understand you. Mods will generally time people out and block them if they keep talking in non-English. I know not everybody is English, but if you can speak English, please speak English, just because otherwise it's kind of a pain for moderation. I'm not saying it to be rude. It's just that, if people are speaking in languages, the mods can't really moderate the chat properly. Right, let's see, will this do up all right? No, I'm not getting the PMG out now. I've got it out on loads of streams before. Just watch one of the... No, I don't have any air raid sirens. I wouldn't be very popular with everybody else if I had an air raid siren, for obvious reasons. Right, this is definitely harder to do the vest up now, because obviously it's got a lot more bulk to the front of it. Right, if I can get the main zip to do up, which is easier said than done. Yeah, if you have a filter on and there's chemicals, the chemicals are essentially stuck in the filter, hence it filters it. Do you mean to say doesn't, Mike? I definitely don't have an air raid siren. Yeah, exactly, doesn't. The thing is, you can buy air raid sirens, it's just they'd be so loud you'd really piss everybody off, wouldn't you? That's the thing. You'd get, like, noise complaints made against you if you had a regular... Is what an M50 copy. Right, that just about goes on, but it's not all that comfortable, look, with those extra panels in it. As you can probably see, it's a bit bulky. So yeah, I'm gonna probably put those panels into another vest, but no, only mods can send links on the chat. I don't know. I have to keep going over this every stream, but it keeps getting asked by people who already know the answer. What do you mean by the M13? I'm confused. I hope he didn't have the original filter on it, Painkiller, because that wouldn't be good for his health. They'd be good as an alarm, wouldn't they, OK9? It's just you would never want one just for casually setting off, because, again, none of your neighbourhood's going to like you if you randomly just set off an air raid siren. There's actually, like, a factory near us not too far away, like less than a mile away, that does an all-clear siren at the end of the factory shift, you know, like rather than the whistle. And you can hear that from, like, literally miles away, you know, just doing that, because it's like the all-clear, you know, flat tone noise, not the... Because with air raid sirens, you get the two-tone siren for, like, the bombs are dropping, and then the all-clear is, like, the flatline kind of noise. I've not eaten it yet, Marcus, but I bet it'll be delicious, because it reminds me of the flips that I had in Austria. The M1's a pretty bad mask. The M2's all right, but apparently it melts. The M3 seems to be pretty damn good from what I've seen of it so far. But bear in mind, it's like a 1980s, 1990s gas mask design made much later than that. No, I don't have a Serbian plate carrier. Closest thing I have to that is the Polish plate carrier. A light anti-gas respirator, Jada Purple Fox. Of course, Myra's still selling overpriced masks. I don't think Myra's going to start selling masks at a reasonable price, are they? That would go against their company policy. No, I'm pretty sure I'm not Daniel, but let me look that up on a map. Oh, look, there's Kevlar fibers on my keyboard now from the opening up that jacket. All right, let's have a look where the Dartford Tunnel is on the map. Right, no, I am probably 100 miles-ish away from there. I'm near Oxford, near sort of Kidlington, Woodstock sort of area. So that's near Thames Valley Police Station. They have whatever factory it is do the siren. Yeah, MM1's in the corner of the background. Avon CT12, Philip. I literally just answered that, Mahalia, whatever your name's pronounced as. It's a British light anti-gas respirator. I won't repeat them all, David, but I've been to a lot of European countries. I've not been outside of Europe as far as I can remember. But yeah, nearly all of Western Europe and a few Eastern European countries. I'd like to go to more countries, but again, at the moment, that's not happening, is it, with Corona? I wouldn't say most of them are Russian. A lot of them are Russian. Depends what you're buying. In the UK, we get lots of old European, like Western European NATO masks turn up on the surplus market. Well, we used to until, Corona made the prices go to shit. Oh, no, they're not like cheese puffs, Marcus. They look externally like cheese puffs, but what they are, they're basically fried peanut butter. So they're really high in protein. So if you like the taste of peanut butter, it's like eating peanut butter as crisps, essentially. Not for a very long period, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure I've been to the Netherlands for like a day, when you go to other places and you're like, traveling through places. But sadly, I've not been to the Netherlands properly. But yeah, they're apparently popular in Germany and Israel. When I was in Austria, you could buy them in places like Lidl and Aldi. So I got quite a lot when I was in Austria on holiday, and they were really fun to eat. But sadly, it just doesn't seem like there's any place in the UK that sells them, or at least not for, stupid kind of import prices. Yeah, I've been to Poland. But yeah, it's literally like a crisp that's healthier than a regular crisp because of the protein content. But it is still like a really kind of, guilty pleasure sort of junk food. I've got a British Mickey Mouse gas mask, not the American one. If it's an Avon made one, Jamie, that's probably all right. If it's a Scott one, no, that's overpriced. I need to get some water in a minute. Well, I'll finish doing the stream first, but yeah, because I had a curry earlier on today. My throat's a bit dry because, spicy. No, that's none of their business to ask me about that. They've asked me about gas masks. They've asked me about Geiger counters and radioactive stuff before. A mogli, or whatever it was called, not one I'd had before, but it's a bit like a tikka masala, but a bit more fruity, and a vegetable tikka masala with peas rice. So essentially 2 mains and a side, just because I had to order a certain amount to qualify for the delivery, rather than having to drive up and get it. Yeah, I've had that a lot recently, Marcus, with stuff where it just gets stuck waiting for transport for ages. Let me look on eBay. I want to see roughly if there's any movement going on my IMD5 yet, because I really want that IMD5. It's got a tracking number at least. Last tracking number is something I can't read, so I'm going to post it in chat, and then I'm going to post it in Google Translate. The last tracking update says this. So let's see what that means in... I started putting in trans, and it says I want transgender, not translate. No, I don't. I want translate. The language is Ukrainian, and it says shipment accepted, apparently. But it could be as late as November before I get it, unfortunately. What's the newest gas mask I have? Probably the MF11D. Probably this one. No, why would you get questioned if you buy a Geiger counter on Amazon? Why? As much as people laugh at the UK, we aren't literally living in such a police state that if you buy legal items online, the police come around to ask you why you're buying them. No, weirdly, Mike, I don't think they do. Like, really, really spicy stuff, Mike, but I found Indian food doesn't actually seem to bother my ulcerative colitis at all. Like, MSG and Chinese food can sometimes set it off, but Indian stuff generally seems all right, and I obviously prefer the milder curries rather than the stronger ones. But, yeah, Indian food never seems to be too bad for my like ulcerative colitis. Imagine if I was eating it as like every meal for days in a row, it would give me the shits. But if I just have a curry every now and again, it's literally completely fine for my ulcerative colitis. Yeah, that's the main reason I actually prefer having curry to like just Chinese stuff, because I like Chinese stuff as well. It's just I've noticed MSG and some of the Chinese sort of takeaway stuff can give my ulcerative colitis a bit more of a hard time. Small brown mask on the bottom left of the poster. Are you looking at that? That's called a P2 on that picture, but it's very similar to the Y2K or U2K respirator, the one that's, you know, famous from Chernobyl. The Avon CT12. The answer's not going to change no matter how many times it gets asked, unless I get a mask that I massively prefer to the CT12. Well, that's your opinion, isn't it, Jay the Purple Fox? It's food, it's subjective. Unless one is a lot more nutritious than another in terms of like protein and whatever else, that's definitely an opinion on flavors and everything else. Some of my pre-World War II masks, so things like the German VM37 or some of the British civilian respirators. Depends what you mean by ballistic masks. Do you mean a mask that would stop bullets? No, I've got that helmet that would stop bullets, but I don't have a mask that would stop bullets. I've got like the riot helmet things, you know, would stop people throwing like rocks at your face and stuff like that, but that's not really ballistic. I would not send me Indian ramen, or sorry, instant ramen to try, because spicy noodles and just like in general instant noodles don't work well with my stomach. No, there is no such thing as a gas mask that can stop bullets. The Russian MAG, Zelensky MAG gas mask can stop birdshot for a couple of shots until it shatters the mask. But no, there's not really any bulletproof masks. There's just some that are like really, really tough against, you know, impacts. Running around in GP5 shouldn't be too hard to breathe. It depends on the filter setup you're using and what your lung capacity is. But for me, I can exercise fine with a gas mask on, but obviously the more weight you've got on, the more the gas mask does restrict you a bit. I got the replica pH gas hood on eBay years and years and years ago. It's a very cheap replica. You can get more realistic looking replicas, but as they don't function, I don't want to spend very much on them. I've got several Polish gas masks. Which particular one are you on about? There's the shell, if you look to the side, there's the shell of a Polish MP5 over there. The actual angle to see it's probably quite difficult there, but there is a Polish MP5 on the shelf over there. The actual shell of one. And I've got a proper MP5 in like working condition in the satchel somewhere. No, you're not going to need a filter on for airsoft games, because I don't think there's many airsoft sites where people are allowed to throw gas at each other. Yeah, there is, Daniel. That's why I sleep in the other room. Thank you, Russian Rooster. That's a Nixie tube. Oh, I did take the thing off of the webcam now. That's a Nixie tube. For the people wondering what a Nixie tube is. It's like a filament kind of thing in a vacuum tube. See that? There's like a load of wires in there. Let's see how, if I get the webcam really close, let's see if it will focus on one of the tubes. Probably not. There we go. So see, it's got like loads of kind of bits of wire in there for each number. And then it heats up the wire for the actual number. N-I-X-I-E, Nixie. Although they're technically not called Nixie tubes. Nixie's a brand name of it, but it's the most famous brand that made them. I've already done on Radiac Maniac. I don't know, I have to answer the same questions over and over again. Yeah, old Geiger counters and that use Nixie tubes, some of them, because they were good for displays before digital. Pardon, hiccups. That's a clock, yes. That's why it's got the current time on it, it's a clock. Sadly, often they are expensive. That one was sent to me by Hype, because apparently you can buy the kits in China and then export them to people for relatively little money. But sadly, most commercial sellers of Nixie tubes clocks often want like hundreds of pounds for them. Essentially, a Nixie tube is just like a vacuum tube type thing. Well, I don't know if you've seen, but they sometimes come on here and chat with people. Russian Rooster. Let's look that one up, Rob. Is that the plasticky one, though? Because if it doesn't offer protection, I wouldn't really want to get one. But British M76 helmet. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's the plasticky one, isn't it? Yeah, it was made from fiberglass, offering less protection than the Mark 6 combat helmet. Oh dear, you know, because the Mark 6 wasn't good, was it? But yeah, so it's literally just a plastic helmet then. They look cool, don't get me wrong. I love the look of things like that. But yeah, they're they wouldn't protect you from much other than bumping your head, would they? I've got some of the Metal Gear Solid games. That's all I've got in terms of Metal Gear Solid. I see a picture of you off. Well, all it literally is, as I said, vacuum tubes that have a clock circuit in them. It's just a tube. Basically, each tube can display the number 0 to 9. So all it is just a clock that displays, you know, numbers 0 to 9 in the right order for the time on the clock. Recently, I've been still playing loads and loads of Command & Conquer Remastered. Get a real gas mask, not a replica one. Replica masks don't do shit, do they, other than look cool? No, I sadly do not have an M1 Garand. Pretty much. Because that's where I edit my videos. Fair enough, OK9. I know if you get technical with all sorts of inert gas, it's like that. But that's the easiest way of explaining it, isn't it? But yes, it's an electrical current running through it. But, you know, it's easier just to say it heats up. No, I do not have an M14. The newest helmet I've got in terms of age is that one, the Virtus helmet. In terms of what's the newest helmet I've bought, that French one I did the video on, the M51. What was the package that stuck on the customs? But yeah, customs can sit on stuff for ages because that's sort of what customs do. Or just helmet, probably my Mark II helmets, you know, the British sort of Tommy one, the one with like, you know, that just does that, little kettle type helmets. I've got a little RC King Tiger that drives around. Sadly, it's not a full size King Tiger. Personally, I wouldn't use a train or any sort of public transport unless I was using all the sort of protective equipment. I'd just use my car. Yeah, and I'm getting quite fed up with people asking the same questions they already know the answers to in these streams, because it does get pretty tiring when you answer a question and then people just keep re-asking the same question. There is a Yugoslavian M72 RPK in the background, yes. Sadly, I can't pick it up to show you it because of YouTube's policy. If you search RPK on my channel, you can find videos of it. All right. I have no idea, I'm afraid, Ivan, sort of Kraken. I really don't know, because in general, they just sit on stuff for an ages, then send it. If they've contacted you, they'll be asking you for what you want. If they're on about invoice, it's probably how much roughly it costs, because they're going to charge me. That's what they're going to do. They're going to basically charge me tax when it arrives. So they're going to say, cough up 50 quid or whatever, or we won't deliver it to you. So you're going to have to give them a rough estimate of what it cost, I imagine. Probably say it was a bit less than it really cost, because I don't want to have to spend like 60 quid for something I'm borrowing off you. But yeah, they've done that with loads of stuff that's sent to me from foreign countries, basically going, oh, you want your tax money? Can't send people gifts for free. What do you mean? Why aren't you allowed to get up during streams? What are you on about? There we go. If you mean, why can't I get guns during a stream? Because it breaks YouTube's policy, if you've ever read their policy on live streaming. It's basically, in a feeble attempt to stop people streaming shootings on our platform, we're going to say you can't handle a gun during a live stream. So it doesn't affect anybody that was planning on doing a suicide mass shooting. It just affects people who just do legitimate videos. What's an RRG? I don't have an RPG either. I can't get an M1911 airsoft pistol if it looks like the real thing, because I don't have a UCARA, which we've been over quite a few times on this channel. You can buy DIAC RPGs actually quite cheaply on places like D&B Militaria. It's just, I don't know if I've really got the room for a giant sort of metal tube, essentially. I've not got an official US M1 helmet, but I have got, I think, either a Danish clone of the M1 and the French M51, which is totally not an M1 helmet, we swear. Because streams and videos have different rules. Literally, don't ask me why YouTube makes the rules up they make up, because I can't tell you that, because I'm not somebody who works at YouTube. But basically, if you look up YouTube's policy now on firearms, you are not allowed to hold or display a firearm during a live stream, but you can in a standard video. As said, it's a stupid rule, but I have to follow it because I don't want my channel to get strikes, because it's a big source of income. No, you'd need to reinforce the lenses of an S10. They'd certainly not hold up against BBs. Just don't use a gas mask airsofting. There's no point. Yeah, it's because they either don't know the difference or they just want to try and con you, because the French versions aren't as good as the Polish MP5. No, I don't think I've got much Star Wars related other than Star Wars DVDs and Blu-rays. Closest, I don't even have a Sterling, because I was going to say if I had a Sterling submachine gun, I'd have a Stormtrooper rifle, but I don't actually have a Sterling submachine gun. Right, Justin Vapor. I'm sure it's a rule for some people and a rule for others, Scott. That's how everything works in real life. It depends what you're using it for, Ao. In a life and death situation, you never really want second-hand gear, do you? In terms of why they sometimes say it, so they can make more money by reselling you more stuff. D&B Militaria, the RPK. Whatever masks I recommended in my last mask recommendation videos, but maybe that MF11D, Avon CT12, or maybe my Spaziani TR2002. What do you mean by a long edited video? I have got some videos on my channel that are like an hour long, but most videos you can't really talk about one gas mask for an hour, you know. For the most part, yes, you can reuse masks and filters if it's not for a life and death situation. It's just, you know, the companies selling filters don't want you to reuse them, because then they don't get as many sales. Thankfully, I'm not holding, handling, or transporting that. It's just sitting there, isn't it? I don't know off the top of my head, Ivan, what they are. Are they like Geiger counters or respirators or whatever? I'll be off in a minute though, because I said my throat's quite dry. Because yeah, curry earlier, so you know I need to stay hydrated. Since longer than my channel existed, Dev. So this channel I made in 2012. So a couple of years older than that, 2010, let's say. Really hard to say, really. It depends which message. I can see that one, Henry. I haven't seen any previous ones for a few minutes. Right, thank you, Alex. Generally, rebreathers are used in mines. Yes, I like the Full-Sheeder A4. That's why I've done videos on it saying it's a good mask. I tend to not lie in the videos, you know, so if I say I like a mask in a video, I do like the mask. It's not like I say I like a mask in a video, then go, oh, what a crap mask, as soon as I turn the camera off. Do I have a Luger? No, I do not have a Luger. Yeah, I think the Polish MP5 is all right. Well, with a rebreather, it doesn't matter what's in the air or if there's no air, because it's a rebreather. You're recycling the air you're breathing out. Coronation chicken, Scott. Yeah, coronation chicken sandwich is pretty good. Chinese chicken's good as well, but that's similar to coronation chicken, just a slightly different flavor sauce. Yeah, the newest Russian mask I have is probably the Zelensky Mag or whatever it's called. And that's all right. It's just a shame the straps are a bit crap on it. That's generally been the problem with a lot of Russian masks I found, is they could just massively improve the quality of the masks if they put a better strap and like harness system on them. But lots of them, you know, just like quite cheap, sort of horrible rubber straps. Yes, it does have raisins in it, but that's not in the chicken. That's just in the sauce. It's in coronation sauce. Raisins and like little bits of nuts or whatever. Right, anyway, I'll be off now. Thanks everybody that's been on and been making sensible comments and that. But yeah, there was a couple of strange things tonight, like re-asking questions I've answered over and over and over again. I assume I'll be on tomorrow, but as said, at the moment, I don't really know what time I'll be on. But have a good evening, everybody. Stay safe all, and don't get the coronas. See you all, hopefully, tomorrow.